All right, Rabbi, say good morning. Let us begin. We have a lot to do today. Our daf today, our daf today is Tzadik Zayin 97, and we are picking up on Tzadik Vav Amud Beis 96b, and we left off Baruch Hashem at the two dots Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel. So we want to thank our sponsors for this morning, our Talmud Torah sponsor of the month of Sivan, Justin and Abigail Rosemore, for dedicating all the Shirim and Drashos in memory of their beloved son Kobe, Chaim Yaakov David Zichron Levracha Ben Yosef Tzadok. Our monthly Talmud Torah sponsors, Alan and Sue Meirowitz and family, Jason, Deborah, Justin, Rebecca, Mindy, Simcha, and all the grandchildren, for dedicating all the Shiurim and Drashos this month as a schus of refuah shlema for Sue Shulamis Tova Bas Mindel. Our week of learning sponsors, Adam and Allison Steinmetz, Shari and Alan Steinmetz, for dedicating all the Shiurim and Drashos this week in memory of Harriet Steinmetz, Chaya Bas Meir, on the occasion of our 4th yard site. And we thank our Shabbos Drasha sponsors, Menachem Mendel and Pam. I'm sorry, that's for tonight. Sorry. We'll say, okay, with that, let us begin. So we're leaving off, and we left off at the two dots again. We're picking up 96b, Tzadik Vav Amud Beis, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 lines up from the bottom. So we'll say some really incredible Gemara this morning. Says the Gemara, Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel, Makoshesh Ma'avir Arba Amos Rishos Harabim Mava. So let's remember again, the Torah records a very strange story of the Makoshesh Eitzim. Right? The Pasuk says that Klal Yisrael was in the Midbar, Vayimtzu Ish Makoshesh Eitzim B'Yom HaShabbos. Klal Yisrael is in the desert, and they find a man, Makoshesh Eitzim. Now, we're going to see what exactly he was doing on Shabbos is subject to dispute, but interestingly enough, he was violating Shabbos. So they found a man in the desert who was violating Shabbos in a public fashion. Interestingly enough, what happens? They find the individual. The pasuk says, "Vayanichu b'mishmar." They put him into jail. Kilo parash ma ya'aselo, for they did not know what to do with the individual. Just as an aside, I'll point out something fascinating about the Judaic legal system, is that we do not believe in the concept of jail, which is really quite fascinating. Judaism understood a very, very, very long time ago that putting a person in a box, right, in a cage for a prolonged period of time does nothing for their rehabilitation. The entire notion of punishment in the Judaic legal system is rehabilitative. That's the goal. Now, sometimes we administer a death penalty because death is the only way to deal with a particular individual, but lamaisa, punishment is almost never punitive. Punishment is rehabilitative. So the only thing we have in the Judaic legal system is a holding cell. You have a holding cell. Sometimes when they did not know what to do with a person, they would put them in the holding cell. But lamaisa, jail was never used in the Judaic legal system as a form of punishment. It's interesting. Okay, so the Makoshesh. So the Gemara says, what did the Makoshesh do wrong? He carried something Dalet Ames in Rishos Harabim. Bimas Nisatana. Elsewhere we learned, Tole Shaya. He uprooted something. Or what was his? So I'll say some interesting machlokes. They're arguing about what exactly did the Makoshesh do wrong. So second opinion, Tolesh, he uprooted something from the ground on Shabbos. He was gathering stuff. So I'll say, at the end of the day, who cares? I mean, what does it matter? The point over here is that the Makoshesh publicly desecrated Shabbos, and therefore, ultimately, again, he was put to death. Why the arguing about what it is that he actually did? The Gemara says, Lichid Rav, because Rav said as follows: Matzasi Megillah Starim Bei Rabbi Chia, the Kasu Isi Ben Yehuda Omer. So I found a hidden scroll in the home of Rabbi Chia, and it said in the scroll the following: Isi Ben Yehuda Omer. Isi Ben Yehuda says as follows: Avos Malachim Arba'im Chasr Achos. There are 39 malachos. V'masan Kula Mehelam Achos. Ve'eno Chayiv Ela Achos. If you did all of them at once, you're only chayiv once. So the Gemara says, Achas v'sulo, is that true? If you did all 39 malachas in one lapse of awareness, you're only chayiv once. The Gemara says, V'hatinan, avos malachos arba'im chasr achas, v'avina ba minyan al'amali. Yet we learned elsewhere that the Mishnah says that there are 39 malachos, and we asked, why do I need the number? To teach me that what? That if I performed all 39 malachas in one lapse of awareness, that in fact I would be chayiv for each and every malacha. Says the Gemara, what it means to say is as follows. So we'll say, and that we saw before, that Allah Lamaisa, there is individual liability for the performance of every single malacha, even if you performed all of them in one lapse of awareness. So what was the meaning of the statement? Ella, the Gemara says, Ema, Eino chayiv al achos mehen. Rather, Abba says, it's actually quite interesting. The Gemara is entertaining the possibility that in fact there is one malacha which does not carry with it a death penalty. One malacha for which you are not chayiv for. Rashi says, Eino chayiv ela al achos mehen, misa, yesh bohen achos she'eno nerag alav. So what's interesting? This Megillah from this hidden scroll said, there is liability for all the 39 malachas, but there is one malacha which does not carry a death penalty. The Gemara says, but yet the scroll does not say which malacha it is. So Rav Yehuda, pshitale dehamavir chayiv. Umasnis, so the Gemara says, so according to Rav Yehuda, it's obvious that what? That if you carry Daled Amos and Rosh Hashanah, that is a malacha for which you are chayiv misa. And that's why Rav Yehuda says that the Mekoshesh was in fact ma'avir. Umas nisim shitale, the tolesh chayiv, according to the Mishnah's interpretation, ultimately again, tolesh tlisha, right, uprooting something is certainly chayiv misa. Ravachar by Yaakov shitale, the ma'amir chayiv misa. Ravachar by Yaakov is obvious in that gathering is chayiv misa. Mar savar hamihas lo mesafka, umar savar hamihas lo mesafka. So we'll say it's actually very interesting over here. So the Gemara, so we'll say just to explain the flow. So we have a machlokas about what the Makoshesh did. We know that there's a man who publicly violated Shabbos. There's a machlokas as to what malacha he did. To which the Gemara says, who really cares which malacha he did? In other words, does that actually even really matter? To which the Gemara says, it does, because I'll tell you what's happening over here. There's another dispute underway. There's a hidden scroll that they found that said, out of all the 39 malachos, you're chayiv for all of them, but one of them does not carry a death penalty. So the Gemara says, which one doesn't carry a death penalty? It's that subject to machlokas. So each of these opinions, when they were weighing in on the crime of the Makoshesh, was also asserting an opinion that this at the particular malacha that they posited the Makoshesh performed, that this is a malacha that is subject to the death penalty. That the dispute may devolve upon the other malachos, but this particular malacha, which they ascribe to the Makoshesh, is in fact chayiv a death penalty. They will say, we in fact, of course, the halacha don't subscribe to that statement in this Megillah, in this hidden scroll. Rather, we hold that halacha l'maisa, the performance of any of the lamites malachos could result ultimately in a death penalty. So we'll say, now that we introduced the Makoshesh, the Gemara is going to take this step further. Incredible Gemara. Turn Rabbanan. Makoshesh Zetz Lavchad. Who is the Makoshesh? Rabbi say, who was he? Now remember, the Torah does not tell us his identity. Torah just calls him an Ish. So the Gemara says, by the way, who was the Makoshesh? It was Tzlavchad. Supposed to remember again, Tzlavchad. We learned about Tzlavchad. Well, I really learned about Tzlavchad after he dies. Remember, Tzlavchad is the one whose daughters come along and they say, Avinu Meis, our father died. Why should his portion in Eretz Yisrael ultimately disappear? So they come and they lobby for his portion, to which the Torah says, an incredible halacha emerges, that if a man does not have any male inheritors, ultimately again his estate goes to his daughters. So the Gemara says, Makoshesh was Tzlavchad, V'chinu Omer, Vayu b'nei Yisrael b'midbar, Vayimtzu ish, Ula'alanu Omer, Avinu meis b'midbar, Ma'lahalon Tzlavchad, Afkan Tzlavchad, Divrei Rabbi Akiva. So both Rabbi Akiva makes the Gzera Shava of Midbar. The Torah says by the Makoshesh, it says Midbar. By the Benos Tzlavchad, it says Avinu Meis Bamidbar. And therefore Rabbi Akiva says that the Makoshesh, the person who publicly desecrated Shabbos, was none other than Tzlavchad. So we'll say, watch this. Akiva, Beikach or Benkach ata asid litenes adin. Akiva, either way what you did was really wrong. And you're going to have to go ahead and stand judgment for your crime. How so? Im kidvarecha, haTorah kisisa v'atamigala also, ve'im lav atamotzi laza also tzaddik. Akiva, either way, the Torah purposely did not name the Makoshesh. Right? The Torah doesn't give us his name. And now if you're right, you revealed the name of a sinner that God did not choose to reveal. And if you're wrong, by the way, then what? You've just gone ahead and been motzi laz. You've slandered a righteous person. Top of Tzadik Zayin, v'ha gamar gzir shava. But Rabbi Akiva has a gzir shava of midbar. Gezerah Shava lo gamar. So we'll say, obviously, Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira ultimately, again, did not have a Masorah for that Gezerah Shava. He did not agree with that particular Gezerah Shava. So Rabbi says, so it's really quite amazing. So Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira giving Rabbi Akiva some significant musar. What are you doing? Why would you go ahead and name this individual? Either the Torah purposely did not want him named, or you're wrong. Either way, you're doing something inappropriate. Ella mehecha hava. So according to Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, ultimately again, why did Tzalafcha die? In other words, ultimately again, what was Tzalafcha's sin? Because also remember again, here's what's important to note. When the daughters of Tzalafcha come to Moshe Rabbeinu, they say, Ki bechet o meis. They say that our father died as a result of his own sin. Now, the truth is, on a Pashat level, what they were coming to say was also that Tzalafchad was not one of the Meraglim. He was not one of the spies. Right? So we'll say, so ultimately, again, but yet they say he died as a result of his sin. If he died as a result of his sin, so the Gemara says, so what did he do? So what did he do? Here we go. Me afilu hava. Excuse me. Me ve'apilu hava. He was one of the Ma'apilim. So Rabbi says, listen to this. The Ma'apilim were the group after the sin of the spies. Moshe Rabbeinu says to Klal Yisrael, you're not going in. That next morning, there were a group of men who decided that they were going to try to right the wrong of the Meraglim, and they decided that they were going to go into Eretz Yisrael, fight their way into Eretz Yisrael. And Moshe Rabbeinu said, don't go. It's not going to work. Well, they went anyway, and that force was repelled, and Jews died as a result. So the Gemara says, "Kiotzi b'davar ato omer vayichar af Hashem bam vayilech." So we'll say so again. So according to Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, so ultimately again, Tzalafchad was one of the Ma'apilim. He was one of the individuals who tried to go into Eretz Yisrael the next morning after the Chet HaMeraglim, and ultimately died in that battle. So we'll say, so obviously, according to Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, he also did something wrong. But of course, so we'll say that at least, the Ma'apilim, those who tried to fight their way into Eretz Yisrael, so you could see that there's a little bit of a, it's going to sound strange, but there's a little bit of a beauty in that sin. Meaning what they were motivated by was a desire to fix the sin of the spies. That's really what they were motivated by. A love for Eretz Yisrael and a recognition that they did something profoundly wrong. Again, it was sinful because God told them not to go, but Lamaisa, the intention was one of purity. Good, so the Gemara goes weiter. Another example of this is, Vayichar af Hashem bam vayilech. Shabbos say this is in the episode after Miriam was talking about Moshe Rabbeinu. Miriam was standing next to Aaron speaking Lashon about Moshe Rabbeinu, and Miriam was stricken with saras. Vayichar af Hashem bam. So the pasuk says that Hashem got angry at them. Them being a reference to Aaron and Miriam. Melamed shaf Aaron nitztara. It teaches us that even Aaron contracted saras. Div Rabbi Akiva. So we'll say once again, Rabbi Yehuda, Akiva, Akiva. Either way, what you did is very wrong. Why? If you're right that Aaron did in fact get saras, the Torah purposely does not name Aaron as having gotten saras. Torah doesn't say anything about it. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is obscuring that fact, and now you're revealing it, which is wrong. So the Gemara says, "V'im lav," and if you're wrong, atamotzi lazal also tzaddik. You're speaking disparagingly, ultimately again about Aaron HaKohen. Ve'elahak bam. But the Torah says that Hashem got angry at them, which sounds like Hashem was getting angry both at Aaron and Miriam. Hahu ben Nazifa ba'am. We'll say it means Nazifa, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was angry with Aaron. Right? Nazifa could literally mean turning away, or Nazifa could even mean like a little patch. But ultimately, again, what it means is Hashem was upset with Aaron. It doesn't mean that Hashem struck Aaron ultimately again with tzaras. Tanya kiman domer af Aaron nitztara. There's a brayso that supports this opinion that even Aaron got tzaras. The chsiv vayifein Aaron al Miriam v'nei mitzaras. So ultimately, again, Aaron turned to Miriam and she was covered in tzaras. So the Gemara says, the Tana shepana mitzaraso. So they darshan, he turned away from his tzaras to see that Miriam was also afflicted with tzaras. So we'll say a really incredible idea. So first of all, also an incredible musr here. We'll say that sometimes, what Yehuda ben Beseira was telling Rabbi Akiva was, sometimes it's good to leave things alone. right? Sometimes not every, sometimes you have to let things lie a little bit. Sometimes the discovery of the truth is good, and sometimes the discovery of every last fact is not necessarily necessary. So, Akiva, whether you're right or whether you're wrong, the Torah never named Tzlafchad. Whether you're right or whether you're wrong, the Torah never named Aaron as contracting tzaras. So perhaps the best thing is, leave it alone. Leave it alone. If Baruch Hu has a cheshbon, leave it alone. I'm Reish Lakish. Hachoshe b'kshem loke begufo. So let's listen to this. If you hachoshe b'kshem means we're supposed to say that if you cast aspersions or you suspect righteous people of wrongdoing, you receive bodily affliction. So we'll say what this means is having negative judgment against righteous people. Choshev b'ksher means literally I suspect someone righteous of doing something negative which they did not do, or again, generally I hold the negative opinion of a righteous individual. Such a person is afflicted, physical affliction. Dechsev hein lo ya'aminu li. So we'll say this is by the sneh, where God tells Moshe, you have to redeem the Jewish people, bring them out. And Moshe tells Akash Baruch Hu, they're not going to believe me. The Galyo Kami Kutshabrichu Demehem Yisrael, but yet Akash Baruch Hu knew that Bnei Yisrael would believe Moshe. Amar Lo, he says to Moshe, Hein ma'aminim b'nei ma'aminim. Klal Yisrael, they are believers, the son of believers. Va'ato ein sofech lahamin. Yet you, Moshe, are going to be the one in the end who doesn't believe. How so? Hein ma'aminim, they believed. Dichsev va'ya'amein ha'am. Pasuk says the people believed. B'nei ma'aminim v'ha'amin b'Hashem. Ato in sofich lahamin, but you, Moshe, you're not going to believe. Shenemar ya'an lo ha'emantem, because we'll say this is by Memoriv, where Moshe struck the rock instead of speaking to the rock. Hashem says to Moshe, you didn't believe in me. Mimai delaka. So we'll say, so again, Moshe Rabbeinu was choshid b'ksherin. Moshe Rabbeinu said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm going to come deliver this whole message of redemption to Klal Yisrael. They're not going to believe me. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, that's not true. That's not nice. You're choshid b'ksherim. You're casting aspersions on righteous people. They are believers, the son of believers. And yet the irony of ironies is that Moshe, you're the one who's going to suffer a lapse in belief. By Mei Meriva, when you should have believed in me enough to follow my directions and speak to the rock, instead of hitting it, you had a lapse in your belief. Mimai delaka. How do we know that Moshe Rabbeinu was stricken? Right, was punished ultimately again for casting aspersions on Klal Yisrael. Dichsiv, vayomer lo Hashem, od haveino yadcha b'cheikecha. So we'll say ultimately again, Hashem says to Moshe, one of the signs that Hashem gave to Moshe that he was on that he would succeed in his mission is he tells Moshe, put your hand into your cloak. And Moshe Rabbeinu takes his hand out and it's mitzaras kishalag. It's covered with saras. So the fact that Moshe Rabbeinu's hand was covered with saras was indicative that he spoke lashon hara about Klal Yisrael. So because of that, ultimately again, he spoke lashon hara, he slandered Klal Yisrael, and therefore again, as a result, he is punished. I will say there's a number of lessons in this also, just in general, how careful you have to be when you speak about Jews. We're not an easy people, and we have many shortcomings, but there's a Kedushas Knesses Yisrael, there's a holiness of the entity of Klal Yisrael, and you must be careful about how you speak about Klal Yisrael, how you speak about segments of Klal Yisrael, how you speak about communities of Klal Yisrael. There's always room for disagreement, but there's never a license to disparage any Jew or any segment, or for that matter, again, Am Yisrael. Because you see, even Moshe Rabbeinu was punished for speaking negatively about Klal Yisrael. Pretty incredible. So the Gemara says as follows: Amar Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Chanina, Mida Tova mimaheres lavo midas paranos. This is incredible. Kadosh Baruch Hu does good things, literally Mida Tova, does good things faster than he does negative things. Because it was, listen to this. When Moshe was being punished, same episode by the sneh, the pasuk says that he took his hand out, and when he removed his hands from his cloak, it was covered in white like tzaras. So you see again, when he removed it from his cloak, it was covered with tzaras. Yet, yet Rabbi say, interestingly enough, when he was being healed, so the pasuk says, he took his hand away from his chest, and it was healed. So we'll say the Gemara is making an interesting diak over here. When did his hand was covered with tzaras? When he removed it from his cloak. When was his hand healed? As soon as he put it by his chest. So the idea over here, not meaning Aron didn't take till he removed it from his cloaks. The idea is the healing process took place faster, ultimately again than the ailment itself. So from here you see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu performs acts of good and kindness at a faster pace than punishment. So Aaron's staff swallowed up the staffs of the Chartumim of Paro sorcerers. Amr Abelazar, Nes Bisoch Nes. This was a miracle inside of a miracle. Rashi says it's the last of the white lines on top of Rashi. Nes Bisoch Nes. La'achar shechazer v'naseh mata b'lo'an v'lo kishu tanin. So the idea over here is, you remember, this is when everybody's throwing down their staffs and the staffs become snakes. So Rashi the Gemara points out over here, the miracle was, number one, that the staff of Aaron swallowed the staffs of the Chartumim, of the sorcerers. The other miracle was that the staff turned back into a staff before it swallowed the other staffs. If you read the Psukim, you would think that Aaron throws down his staff, turns into a snake. The sorcerers throw down their staff, turns into a snake, and then the snake of Aaron swallowed the snakes of the Chartumim. That's not how it happens, says the Gemara. In fact, again, Aaron throws down his staff, it turns into a snake. They throw down their staffs, it turns into a snake. Aaron's staff turns back into a staff, and the staff of Aaron swallows the staffs or the snakes, ultimately, of the sorcerers. Incredible. So we'll say back to the Gemara. So remember again, we saw in the Mishnah that if you throw an object from Rishus Hayachid to Rishus Hayachid, and there is a Rishus Harabim in the middle, Rabbi Akiva says you're chayiv, and the Chachamim say that you are pater. So let's analyze. Boy Rabba, lemata me'asara pligi. We'll say when we say it's going through Rishus Harabim, how obviously it's flying through Rishus Harabim. So how does that happen? Is it flying through at a height of less than 10 tefachim? And that's where they're arguing. Ubaha plugin. Here is the point of contention. Demar savra amrin klut kimishahuncha. One opinion says klut kimishahuncha means that when you pass through an airspace of a particular domain, we view the item as having come to rest in that particular domain. So one opinion says we view the item as having come to rest in the Rishus Harabim, and therefore you're chayiv. Umar Savar Lo Amrin Klu to Kimishuncha. But ultimately, again, the other opinion says no, we do not view an item that travels through the airspace of a Rishus as if it came to rest in that Rishus. But Allah, if the object flew through at a height of, if it flew through at a height of more than 10 tefachim, divrei kol pater. Everyone agrees that you're pater, and in that case, v'lo yalfinan zorek mimoshit. We will not learn out the halachos of throwing from the halachos of handing. The Rebbe said this is very important. Remember, again, as we saw in yesterday's Mishnah, so these halachos ultimately, again, of handing items from one domain to another are learned out from the Leviim and the way they loaded the boards of the Mishkan onto the wagons. The Rebbe said, interestingly enough, when loading, there is no question that halacha l'maisa, the object would be above 10 tefachim in the Rishus Harabim. So when it comes to handing an item, it could very well be that you'll be chayiv even if the act of handing occurs at a height of greater than 10 tefachim. What the Gemara is suggesting is perhaps we just don't learn out the laws of throwing an object from the laws of handing an object. And therefore, if you throw an object at a height of greater than 10 tefachim, you will not be chayiv for that. So that's one possibility. Odama, lamala me'asara pligi, or maybe they're arguing even if you threw the item at a height of greater than 10 tefachim, ubaha pligi, this is what they're arguing about. Demar savar yafina zorek mimoshit, umar savar lo yafina zorek mimoshit. One opinion holds that we learn out the halachos of throwing from handing, and therefore you'll be chayiv even at a height of higher than 10 tefachim. Umar savar lo yafina zorek mimoshit. The other opinion says no, we do not learn out the halachos of throwing from handing. Aval lamata, but halacha miyud, but halacha lamaisa. Anything that occurs below 10 tefachim, divrei hakol chayiv. Everyone agrees that you're chayiv. Why would that be? Rabbi will say, my taima, kluta kimishahun chadamya. Because we'll say, according to this approach, everyone subscribes to the idea that when an item goes through the airspace of a particular domain, it is as if it has come to rest in that domain. Amr Rav Yosef. So Rav Yosef says, so we're not sure how to frame the machlokes. So Rav Yosef, hamilsa ibalei l'Rav Chisda, upashta nehile. So this question was asked to Rav Chisda, and he answered it. Upashta nehile Rav Hamnuna, meha, merushusa echal rushusa yav over b'rushusa Rav Atzvas. So let's listen to this case. If a person throws an item from Rishus Hayachid to Rishus Hayachid, and ultimately again it goes through the Rishus Harabim. Rabbi Akiva Mechayiv, V'Chachamim Potrim. Rabbi Akiva says that you're Chayiv, and the Chacham say that you're Pater. And I will say, if you notice in this brisa, there's one extra word. It says you're throwing from Rishus Hayachid to Rishus Hayachid, and the object goes through Rishus Harabim Atzma. It goes through Rishus Harabim itself. So says the Gemara, Midikhan Rishus Harabim Atzma. Since it says that it's going through the Rishus Harabim itself, so the Gemara says Pshita Lamata Me Asara Pligi. It must be that they're arguing where the object goes through the airspace of Rishus Harabim, and the object is Lamata Me Asara. It is below 10 Tfachim. Ubemai, so we'll say, what are they arguing about? The Gemara says, Ubemai, Ilema B'mavir Lamata Me Asara Hu D'Mechayiv. So then maybe you want to say that it's only in a case ultimately where what? Where the object goes through the Rishus Harabim at a height of lower than 10 Tfachim. That's when you're Chayiv. But above 10 Tfachim you won't be Chayiv. V'hamar Rabbi Elazar, Hamotzi Masui Lamala Me'asara Chayiv. Rabbi Elazar says that if you carry a pack, let's say you're carrying a burden on your back, and let's say again that pekel, that burden is higher than 10 Tfachim, you will be Chayiv. Why? Shekin Masa B'nei Kahas. Because I will say again, when Kahas would carry the aron and other utensils, ultimately again they'd be carrying it at a height of higher than 10 tfachim. Elalav bezorik. Rather, machlokes must be about throwing an object. Ulamata me'asarahu d'mechayiv. And I will say, if you're throwing an object, like in this case, I'm standing in Rishus Hayachid and I'm throwing an object from Rishus Hayachid, it goes through Rishus Harabim and lands in a second Rishus Hayachid. So it must be that I'm throwing the object, and I'm throwing the object at a height of less than 10 tfachim. That is when hu d'mechayiv. That's when you're chayiv. L'mala me'asara l'mechayiv. Ultimately, again, but if you go ahead and it's l'mala me'asara, you will not be chayiv. Shmamina bikluta k'mashahuncha pligi shmamina. So what do you see from Rabbi saying? That what is the point of contention between Rabbi Akiva and the Rabbanan? The point of contention is Kluta kamishahuncha. So both say, so what's at the core of the machlokes between Rabbi Akiva and the Chachamim is what happens when you throw an item through an airspace of a rishus, but it never comes to rest in that rishus. Do we view it that if you go ahead and you go through the airspace of a domain, that you've come to rest in that domain? Or do we say that halacha lemaisa, going through the airspace is not the equivalent of coming to rest? So that's the machlokes ultimately between Rabbi Akiva and the Chachamim. Upligid Rabbi Elazar, and Rabbi Elazar, this argues Rabbi Elazar. What does Rabbi Elazar say? Rabbi Elazar, mechayiv haya Rabbi Akiva v'yilamala miyud. Rabbi Akiva, in fact, so we'll say in Rabbi Elazar's man, Rabbi Akiva would hold that you're chayiv, even if the item travels through the airspace of Rishus Harabim at a height of greater than 10 tefachim. V'had diktani Rishus Harabim atzma, and that which it said, Rishus Harabim itself, lo diacha kocham d'Rabbanan, is to teach you the strength of the Rabbanan's position. The Rabbi said the Rabbanan hold that Allah say even below Yud, you won't be chayiv unless the item actually comes to rest in Rishus Harabim. Why? Because according to the Rabbanan, they hold kluta kamishalohun chadami, that going through the airspace of a particular domain is not the equivalent of coming to rest in that domain. Upligid Rav Chilke bar Tuvi. Then Rav Chilke bar Tuvi, toch shlosha devriyakol chayiv. Supposed to listen to this. Rav Chilke bar Tuvi gives a good construct here. He says everyone agrees that if an object is within 3 tefachim of the ground, ultimately, again, it's considered as if it came to rest. Right? Everyone will agree to that. Both say that's the concept of lavud. L'malami asara, in Rishus Harabim, if it's above 10 tefachim, divrei kol pater. Everyone agrees that you're pater. Migimel va'ad yud, what happens between 3 tefachim and 10 tefachim? Baron l'machlokes Rabbi Akiva and Rabbanan. Both say that's the machlokes Rabbi Akiva and the Rabbanan. The Rabbi Akiva will say that you're chayiv, because he'll say kluta kamisha huncha. When it goes to the airspace, it's as if it came to rest. And the Rabbanan will say that you're pater, because they hold kluta kamisha lo huncha. Tanya Nabi Achar, so that supports this. Besoch gimel divrei kol chayiv. If the object is within 3 tefachim of the ground, everyone agrees that you're chayiv. L'mala miyut, if it's above 10 tefachim, eino ela mishum shuvos. Everyone agrees that it's only aser ben derabanan. V'im hayu rishuyos shelo. But ultimately, again, if this is an interesting case, what happens if both rishus hayachids are mine? Right? So remember again, in this case, I'm throwing an object from a rishus hayachid through a rishus harabim, and it's landing in a second rishus hayachid. Let's say both of the rishuyos hayachid belong to me. Then what's the halacha? Mutter. then in this case, again, we'll see that a little bit more. Then in that case, it's mutter. Migimel vadasara, Rabbi Akiva mechayiv, v'cham pochrim, from 3 tfachim until 10 tfachim. Rabbi Akiva says that if it goes to the airspace of Rosh Hashanah, you'll be chayiv. Again, because Rabbi Akiva holds, kluta kimishun chadamya. When you go through the airspace of a particular area, it's as if the item has come to rest in that area. V'chachamim pochrim. And the chachamim say that halacha l'maisa, kluta kimisha lohuncha, going through airspace is not the equivalent of coming to rest, and therefore you'll be pater. Amar mar, im hayu rishuyo shalom mutter. So, we said before that if both rishuyas hayachid belong to me, same person, then I'll be pater. Said the Gemara, or mutter. Rav. This refutes the position of Rav, because what does Rav say? The itmar shnei batim shnei tzidei rishus harabim. If you have two homes on the same side of the rishus harabim. Rabbi Barafuna Amar Asr Lizrok Mizelozeh. So Rabbi Barafuna says in the name of Rav, you cannot go ahead and throw from one home to the other. Now both say this is a case where there's obviously an intervening Rishus Harabim. Ushmuel Amar Shmuel says Mutter Lizrok Mizelozeh, and Shmuel says no, you are permitted to throw from one Rishus Hayachid to another Rishus Hayachid. So the Gemara says Valav Miokimna Lahu Tkigon the Midlichad Umisisichad. But we set up that case, we'll say, what's the concern? According to the opinion, it says you can't throw from one of those rishus to another one. What's the concern? If they're on different levels, they're not on the same level. Then the concern is zimnin dinafil va'asula asuye. The concern is that you may not properly gauge your throw. The item may fall into the rishus harabim, and you may come to retrieve the object from rishus harabim and come to carry it. So therefore, again, so now we understand that just the takeaway from all of this is that the fundamental machlokes between Rabbi Akiva and the Rabbanon is in the concept of kluta kamishahun chadamya. When an item flies through the airspace of a particular rishus, is it considered that it has come to rest or not? So ultimately, again, Rabbi Akiva says yes, kluta kamishuncha, it's as if it came to rest. The Rabbanan say no. Therefore, again, also going back to the case of the Mishnah, if a person is standing in Rishus Hayachid and throws an object from Rishus Hayachid, it goes through Rishus Harabim and lands in a second Rishus Hayachid, Rabbi Akiva says you're chayiv for hotzah because we view the object as having come to rest in the Rishus Harabim itself. The Chacham say you're not chayiv for hotzah because essentially what you've really effectively done is transferred an item from one private domain to another private domain, which may be Asr Midrabanan, but certainly will not be an Isser Da'araisa. Good. So the Gemara says as follows: Amrli Rav Chisda Rav Hamnuna Amrli Rav Hamnuna Rav Chisda Minahan Losam Rabbanan. But say, where do we know this concept that the rabbis say? Kol Pachos Migimel Kol Lavudami. Rabbi say, from where do we know the concept of lavud? That anything that is within 3 tefachim of the ground is considered to be attached to the ground. From where do we know that? Amrli Lefishi Efshar Leiler Shosarabim Shetilake B'Malake Baritani. So we'll say, this is actually very interesting. So he answered, because in general, a Rishus Harabim, right? Earth is not flat. Earth is not flat. So because Earth is not flat, you have to account for different heights and depressions. So because of that, Chazal came along and said, therefore, within 3 tefachim of the ground, ultimately is considered to attach to the ground. So that way, if you have a mound over here, you have a depression over here, it's all considered the same Rishus. To which the Gemara says, okay, but ihachi gimel nami. The Gemara says, ihachi gimel nami. Ihachi gimel nami. So first of all, if that's the case, then why is it only under 3 tefachim? Why not including 3 tefachim itself? Visu disnan hamishashal defanas milamal lamatim hein givoin mina aretz lo shetfachim psula hapachos migimel kshera. Supposed to get, we know by sukkah. What's the halacha by sukkah? Right? You need walls that go down to the ground. But the good news is that if your walls are within 3 tefachim, they're considered as if they extend all the way down to the ground. So why does that work? Or that has nothing to do with topography, right? That's a din in sukkah. So why would that work? To which the Gemara says, Hasam hainu taima mishum dahavide mechitza shagadim bokimba. So we'll say ultimately again that's something different, because in order to be a mechitza, it has to be something that an animal wouldn't go through. So 3 tefachim or more, the animal could get through the bottom. 3 tefachim or less, we assume a gedi, a kid, is not going to get through it, and therefore it's a proper mechitza. The Gemara says, okay, teinach lamata, lama lamai ika lememar. That works fine for the bottom of those. Rabbi say, no, the halacha of lavud also works upwards. So for example, if your walls are 3 tefachim or more from where the schach is, then ultimately the sukkah is invalid. If it's less than 3 tvachim, the sukkah is valid and kosher. So how does that work? To which the Gemara says, you're right. Ela kol pachos mishlosha kilavadami hilchasa gemir. The Rabbosai, lavud is a halacha lemoshe misinai. That's the answer. Lavud is halacha lemoshe misinai. So a Sanaitic law that says anything within 3 tvachim of a particular surface or space is considered to be attached to that particular surface or space. Good. Tana Baran. If you throw an object from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah and Rosh Hashanah is in the middle, Rabbi Mechayev, Rabbi says Yechayev, like Rabbi Akiva said, V'chacham and Pochen, Chacham say your pater, Rabbi Shmuel Dami Tarbayu, Lochiv Rabbi Elabir Shus Hayochid Makura. First of all, says the Rabbi only said that Yechayev when it's a Rishus Hayochid that is roofed, because in that case, Da'aminon Beisa Kiman Demal Yodami. Because Rabbi said then if it's roofed, the area is considered to be as if it's filled in, and therefore the object is considered as if it has come to rest. Aval she'ena makura, but ultimately again, if the Rishus Hayochid is not roofed, then lo. Then ultimately again, you would not be chayiv. Says the Gemara. Amar Rav Chana, Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Shmuel, mechayev haya Rabbi Shtayim, achas mishum otza, va'achas mishum achnasa. We'll say now it gets really crazy. Here's where it gets crazy. So Rabbi says, not only are you chayiv, but you're chayiv twice. So we'll say, if you throw an object from Rishus Hayochid through Rishus Harabim and it lands in Rishus, you go ahead and you throw an object from, this is now a different case. You throw an object from Rishus Harabim through Rishus Hayochid into Rishus Harabim. It's a reversed case. Rabbi says that you're chayiv. But Rebbe says you're only chayiv if the Rishus Hayochid in the middle is roofed, because if it's roofed, it's considered to be that the area is filled in. If it's filled in, then we view the object as having come to rest. Well, once you view the object as having come to rest, Rebbe is saying you're going to be chayiv twice. Why twice? Once for throwing an object from Rishus Harabim to Rishus Hayochid. Now, halachically, we're viewing the object as having come to rest in Rishus Hayochid, and then again for the object going from Rishus Hayochid back into Rishus Harabim. You're going to be chayiv twice. So the Gemara says, achas mishum otza, v'achas mishum achnasa. Yosef, Reb Chana, v'kakashile. So Reb Chana was, this is very problematic for him. Amud Beis, I will say. Amud Beis. L'meimra. L'meimra. Is this to say, the Mechayiv Rebbe, I told him, Makam Av, Nebosai. Now remember again, going back to yesterday's daf, right? There's hotzah and hachnasa. Hotzah means an act of taking from a Rishus Hayochid to a Rishus Harabim, and hachnasa an act of Rishus Harabim to Rishus Hayochid. Now remember, as we said in yesterday's daf, the Av Melacha is hotzah, taking from Rishus Hayochid to a Rishus Harabim. The reason why that is the Av is because remember again, that's what happened by the Mishkan. And the told of the offshoot is Hachnasa from Rishus Harabim to Rishus Hayochid. Rebbe now just got finished saying that what? If you throw an object from Rishus Harabim through a Rishus Hayochid and it goes in, flies through and lands in another Rishus Harabim, you're going to be chayiv twice. Assuming that the Rishus Hayochid is roofed, we view it as if the object came to rest in the Rishus Hayochid, and therefore halacha l'maisa you're going to be chayiv twice. Once for hachnasa, right? Because from Rishus Harabim to Rishus Hayochid, and then hotzah Rishus Hayochid to Rishus Harabim. So the Gemara says, is that true that Rebbe holds that you could be chayiv for an av and it's tolda together? But Tanya, we learned Rebbe Omer dvarim hadvarim ela dvarim elam tesmachos. We saw this drasha before. Dvarim is 1, had dvarim is 2, and the gematria of ela is 36. That gives you 39 malachos. Shenemru l'Moshe b'Sinai. Amar lei Rav Yosef. So we'll say we learned from that. Why do we have 39 malachos? Teaches us 39 malachos that you can be chayiv for multiple avos, but you'll never be chayiv for an av and its tolda in one lapse. That doesn't happen. So I can be, if I do multiple avos, I'll be chayiv for all of the avos. But if I do an av and its subsidiary malacha, an av and its tolda, I'm never chayiv twice. How could Rabbi say that you're chayiv twice in this case? The Gemara says, Amar Rav Yosef, Mar Aha Masnila, the Kashile de Rebbe ad Rebbe. So okay, Rav Yosef says, you're learning this out from here, and therefore you have a problem with Rebbe. Anan ad Rabbi Huda Masnila v'lo Kashya. But we teach us like Rabbi Huda, we don't have a problem. How so? This Sanya, Mirishus Hayachid Rishus Harabim Va'avar Arba Amos Birshus Harabim. So we'll say what Rav Yosef is trying to say is you just kind of have to switch around the case. You were learning it as a case ultimately again from Rishus Harabim to Rishus Hayachid to Rishus Harabim. I'd like to reframe the case. Merishus Hayachid Rishus Harabim va'aver arba amos b'Rishus Harabim. So listen to this case. Reuven throws an object from Rishus Hayachid to Rishus Harabim, and the object then subsequently travels another Dalit Amos in Rishus Harabim. So we'll say this is very interesting. So you see, there are two things happening over here. Action number one is that I'm transferring an item from Rishus Hayachid to Rishus Harabim. Action number two is what? The object is traveling Dalit Amos in Rishus Harabim. So watch this. So what's the halacha? Rabbi Huda mechayiv v'cham pochim. Rabbi Huda say that you're chayiv, and the Chachamim say that you're pater. So what's going on over here? I'm Rabbi Yehuda Rav Shmuel. So what's the pshat? Mechayiv hayi Rabbi Yehuda shtayim. Not only does Rabbi Yehuda say that Shechayiv, Rabbi Yehuda will say that Shechayiv twice. Rabbi will say why? Mishum hotzah or mishum havara. You're chayiv once ultimately because of hotzah. Because also remember again, what did you do? You threw an object from Rishus Hayachid to Rishus Harabim. So that's hotzah, and you also did havara. What's havara? Another tolda, ultimately carrying an object Dalid Amos in Rishus Harabim. Because if you think that you only chayiv once, Michlal Drabanan Patri Legamri, that sounds like the Rabbanan won't say that you're totally pater. The Gemara says, how could that be? How can you be pater in this case? Ha'afik la mirishus hayachid rishus harabim. Means no, you could be pater because the Gemara said there's no doubt that you did an act of hotzah. What did you do? You threw an object from rishus hayachid to rishus harabim. To which the Gemara says, Mimai. Maybe no. Maybe Rabbi Yehuda only holds you chayiv once. Rabbi says, remember again, this is a different kind of case. Right? So here, this case, up until now, we've been dealing with a variation of either Rishus Hayachid through Rishus Harabim to Rishus Hayachid, or Rishus Harabim through Rishus Hayachid to Rishus Harabim. Now we're introducing a new case, Rishus Hayachid to Rishus Harabim, and then traveling another Dalit Amos in Rishus Harabim. So the shaila is, what do you chayiv in a case like that? To which the Gemara says, maybe Rabbi Yehuda holds that you only chayiv once. The Rabbanan Patri, and maybe the Rabbanan say you're totally pater. But how could you be totally pater for a case like that? You did an act of hotzah. Watch this. Veichi mishkachas la kigon da amar ad dinafka leil Rishus Harabim tanuach. Rabbi say a person standing in Rishus Hayachid, he's going to throw the object, and he says, Hineni muchana muzuman, to throw an object from Rishus Hayachid to Rishus Harabim, but I want the object to land immediately once it enters into Rishus Harabim. So there's a lot of kavanah going to this avera. Right, so again, people do this all the time. People put incredible kavanas into averas. So we'll say, so I want the object to land immediately once it enters into Rishus Harabim. But what happened, Rabbi say? His kavanah was not fulfilled. Because what occurred? He overshot it. And what occurred? The object traveled an additional Dalit Amos. Now remember, what's Dalit Rabbi say? In general, when it comes to Hilchos Shabbos, you require Meleches Machshavas. Meleches Machshavas means there must be intent, specific intent. So here, what's happening over here is I had a vision as to how I wanted this to look. Obviously, it's a case of shogeg, right? How I wanted this to look, and what I wanted did not materialize. I wanted to throw it from Rishus Harabim, from Rishus Hayachid to Rishus Harabim, and for it to land immediately in Rishus Harabim. But it didn't do that. It traveled another Dalit Amos. And therefore the Rabbanan will say, because your machshava was not mekuyam, because your machshava did not materialize, it's not meleches machshavas, and therefore you're pater. So the Gemara says, "B'ha kamifligi Rabbi Yehuda." So b'ha kamifligi. Rabbi Yehuda savra mina klu tekimishuncha. This avli machshavta. This is wild. Rabbi Yehuda says, no. Halacha l'maisa, we view it as if your das didn't materialize. Why? Rabbi Yehuda holds kli tekimishuncha. Listen to what this means. Rabbi Yehuda says, here's the way it plays out. Reuven throws an object from Rishus Hayachid to Rishus Harabim. The moment it enters into Rishus Harabim, it's viewed as what? As if it came to rest. And then there's a secondary act of the item moving an additional Dalit Amos. So Rabbi Yehuda says your machshava was mikuyam, it comes to rest as soon as it comes into Rishus Harabim. You're chayiv once for that, and then chayiv a second time, ultimately again for the act of transferring the item Dalaramis and Rishas Arabim. The Rabbanan Sabri Lo Amrina Klu to Kimishuncha. The Rabbanan say no, we don't view an item that goes through airspace as if it came to rest. Velois Avdale Machshavto. But ultimately, and therefore again your Machshava did not materialize, and therefore you will be Patra Aval Atolda B'Makom Av Lo Mechayev Rabbi Yehuda. But even Rabbi Yehuda will agree that Halacha L'Maisa, you are not chayiv for a tolda when you are chayiv for the av. To which the Gemara said, "Lo sardaitcha desanya Rabbi Yehuda Mosef af hashovet v'hamedakte." So I was saying that interestingly enough, the Brayta says Rabbi Yehuda adds on to the malachos, to the 39 malachos, shovet, which means lining up the warp thread, medaktek, which means beating the weft thread. Amrulo shovet haru bichlal mesach, medaktek haruchu bichlal oreg. So I said to him, listen, shovet and medaktek are already subsumed under other malachas. My love dav dinu l'tarvaya b'hadi adadi. Are we not talking about a case you perform both of these malachas together? Ushmamina mechayiv haya Rabbi Yehuda atoldu makomav. And I'm going to say that Rabbi Yehuda holds that halacha l'mais you'll be chayiv for a tolda even when you perform the av. To which the Gemara says, Mimai damali olam da'avda lahaluchuda v'haluchuda. No, maybe you're performing both of these malachos of shavit and medaktek on their own. For Rabbi Yehuda atolda b'makomav lo mechayiv. And Rabbi Yehuda does not hold that you're chayiv for a tolda when you perform the av. Ubahakam, again, this is what they're arguing about. To Rabbi Yehuda savar hani avos ninhu. Rabbi Yehuda holds that halacha l'maisa, these are avos. Shovet and medaktek are avos. Rabbanan savri hani toldos ninhu. And on the other hand, Rabbanan hold that ultimately again these are toldos. Teda diktani Rabbi Yehuda mosif. Because even the lashon is that Rabbi Yehuda is adding on malachas. I amrit bishlama avos my mosif. So ultimately again mosif avos. If you say that it's talking about again avos, then it makes sense that the lashon of mosif is on avos. Ella I amrit toldos my mosif. But if ultimately again you say that it's referring to toldos, then what are you adding on over here? All right, so to have to stop over here. I know I'm stopping a few lines from the two dots, but I'll pick up in Meretz Hashem by the Itmar Nami. So we end off again with this really fascinating machlokes. So essentially, here's what we have going on over here. So we have a couple of machloksim. The fundamental machlokes over here that we have going on is kluta kimishun chadamya, right? That what happens halacha lamaisa when an item flies through airspace? Is it as if it has come to rest or it has not come to rest? That's ultimately, that's really the fundamental machlokes. The secondary machlokes that has now come up is if you violate an av and a tolda together, so halacha lamaisa again, are you going to be chayiv for both or not? So we'll stop here with those two machloksim, and the Meretz Hashem will pick up with the Itmar Nami in Meretz Hashem tomorrow. Shkoach Rabosai. For those of you who are staying on the Zoom for Minyan, I'll end this one, and the Meretz will begin a few moments from the shul parking lot. Shkoyach.